After traveling through Sarawak, the western part of Malaysian Borneo, we wanted to visit one of the famous wildlife spots in Sabah, in the north of the island, before eventually heading east for our diving training. That's how we got to witness the beauty and diversity of Kinabtangan River, and also how we got to know how it became such a famous wildlife spotting paradise, which actually is not as surprising as you might think. That one little detail no one talks about. I'm very happy we ended up going to Kinabtangan River. It was absolutely worth it. Yet what we didn't know at the time was how difficult it actually is to get to this remote place. The first thing I recommend is that you make your way to Sandakan, which is the closest city to the Kinabtangan area and the river. Theoretically, you can travel from different places in Borneo, but that very often includes different buses, changing buses, and a lot of confusion. While in Sandakan, you won't take a bus, not a plane, not a train, but that's right, Mr. Choi. That man has somehow made a name for himself by bringing people from Sandakan to Kinabtangan River. You can of course always try to take a private taxi or whatever, but it won't be as cost-worthy as it is with him. His number is literally all across the internet, but if you have trouble finding it, just give me a shout on Instagram, Facebook, or shoot me an email. I think Mr. Choi also has an email by the time. Just give me a shout and we'll arrange something. The way from Sandakan to Kinabtangan is nothing really special. What you see the most is that one plant you see so very often in Sabah. Mr. Choi will take you directly to your stay, which you should book at least one day beforehand. You can't really walk around and spontaneously find a stay. I mean, you can, but it wouldn't be very fun. There are no ATMs and actually there's not even real infrastructure, so make sure to get that before you get there. We decided to go with Sukau backpackers. The stay itself is quite basic, but was definitely not the worst accommodation we ever had. The next restaurant is about half an hour away, but they also serve food. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, that's absolutely cool, just tell them, they will adapt to it. And here finally comes the most exciting part, and for us, a pretty cool time. Just shortly after arriving, we ran into our friends Boggy and Matt, ready to head off for a river cruise and finally see all The backpackers offers 3 cruises, a morning cruise, an afternoon and an evening cruise. On our first cruise we saw everything. Finishing the day off, with a stunning sunset. The morning cruise was different. What I enjoyed the most on this morning was the magical moody atmosphere. Slowly revealing more and more of our surroundings. finding all these eyes carefully watching us from the distance. Oh, and that's the crocodile we spotted. Cute, right? It's almost as big as the one Boggy and Matt spotted the other day. The night cruise. Well, you might expect it, but it was dark. No, honestly. We were in general very happy with our skippers. I mean, spotting a snake in between branches in the middle of the night. How do you even do that? By the way, did you know pythons can swim? Because I didn't. And I think it's quite scary. Anyway, what I was about to say is, the guides also knew how to bring us close to the animals without scaring them off. So which cruise should you do? The answer is all of them, of course. Each cruise was worth it, and I think each cruise is also quite unique in its own way. And after seeing all that, you have to wonder, we definitely wondered, how is it possible that it's so easy to spot wildlife here? There is something, a certain condition, that actually gives you this high chance of spotting all the wildlife there is at Kinabtangan River. And it's actually not that big of a secret. We can do this together. Get your phone, go on Google Maps, type in Kinabtangan River, and you can see clearly where the sanctuary is, where all the forest is next to the river. Yet the one day we went out, Kat asked our guide,
why do we actually only see animals on the one side?
And the guide explained to us,
well, the animals on the other side, they are all hiding.
Pointing at the side where all the forest is. Now again, if you zoom out and you look at the other side, what you will find, and that's where you zoom in further and further, are plantations. Palm oil plantations. Which is also why on some of the footage you don't see any trees in the background, except for the ones directly placed at the riverbank. Sabah is the strongest converted region in all Borneo and Malaysia. Even our stay was full of it, and apparently these trees did not even belong to them. Sabah committed to certify all palm oil plantations of the state, which is good in a way, but does not really help the situation. The Roundtable of Sustainable Palm Oil itself is just one big controversy. And the striking point actually is, even when they set standards, they do not prevent deforestation. Meaning that even when certified, the industry will continue to cut down rainforest. Most of the animals living on the wrong side of the river literally have nowhere to go. Like the endemic pygmy elephant, which we actually did not see, which on the other hand is not very surprising when you realize that there's only 1,500 left of them. Proboscis monkeys also are endangered, but they actually can swim, so theoretically they could cross over. But you saw what is waiting in these waters. Orangutans on the other hand, they do not really have that option. Which is why you find these orangutan bridges at some points, helping them and other animals to hopefully travel into a new habitat. I would like to point out that a solution definitely is not to boycott that place, to not go to Kinabtangan River. I mean, think about it. If tourism would stop completely in this already underdeveloped area, locals would not be able to make any more money, and the government might actually interpret the lack of tourism as lack of interest, and then in favor of the country's wealth, GDP, development, industries, corporations, lobbyism, you call it, continue to cut down the rainforest. And tourism is not the main problem here.